Let me try to do this with the phone. I'm going to go ahead and lay some paint on. As you can see here, I've mixed some white in with the gray. I actually made a stray mark on the I made a stray mark. Maybe I won't do this. I'm going to wipe this off. I gotta wipe this off. But with acrylic, you just use water, and then that mark is gone. So that's it. The mark is gone. But that's how I just learned that when I hold the phone and try to paint, make a paint lesson, and it doesn't really help. Really, it doesn't help me. But we'll see what goes on here. I'm going to go ahead and lay some paint on this. I'm going to put it here. See how can't talk. See how light that is. It's almost too light. So let's see over here. See, that's too dark. So it's too light for here and too dark for here. So then what I would do is I would add more white to this and spread it. I would add more white to this and spread it around. And I would add more umber and blue to this and spread that around to make this darker. Actually, this was kind of a good example to show you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wipe one of them away. I'm going to wipe one of these away before it dries too much, because I don't want to work on that area yet. So I'm going to wipe away the light one. So that's gone. That's the beauty of acrylic again. Even though I don't like acrylic much, it comes in handy when you clean it up and when you have to remove it. It's just water. Yeah, maybe I like it more than I thought. But it's hard to do detail with it for me because it dries so fast. And I like to have the option to take more time. So I'm going to see if I can make this darker. And again, I don't know if I'm going to keep doing these kind of things with this videoing of me actually painting, because it gets in the way. You know, because I have to hold the camera with one hand, and it's in the front of my face, so it's very difficult to paint. Let me see here. See what I'm doing. If I can get out of my face. Now also my hand is blocking the light, so I have to adjust the light because I'm left-handed. So this light, I have to adjust that light. So there's constantly things I discover as I prepare to paint. There's so many things to prepare to do. So now I have to move the light now, I've realized, because it's going to be in my way. It casts a shadow. See how it's casting a shadow? It's not the camera doing that, it's my hand. So now I'm in darkness, I can't really fully see what I'm doing. I mean, I can, but the shadow is annoying, see? It's just annoying. Okay. Better. See how it's darker? I'll just move it around with my finger even. Because you can do that with acrylic. Actually, this brings up a good point. Now that I'm doing this, acrylic, in fact, even oil too, involves lots of finger painting, more than one would imagine. At least my technique is. I do a lot of finger painting when I paint, actually. Like what I just did. When I smudge it, you know, why use the brush, especially if it's already drying? You might as well just use your finger, and it blends really nicely. See? See how it's blending? And then the dry brush, when it doesn't take much to dry either when it's this thin, since I work really thin and small. It dries quickly enough to where you can scumble which is a dry brush technique. And so a lot of acrylic is actually scumbling for me. That's how I get the detail, but after a point, it's just too dry, and it's too immovable for me. So in theory, I could go over this entire area doing this, and I would have reworked not just highlight, but I would have actually painted over what existed before, and it would be a different painting, and I would have covered this whole, you see, quadrant. Here's the whole picture. I could cover this entire area with this technique. Even the barn, I could cover all of it. I could cover this entire quadrant just doing that, and I would have gone over the entire. Whoops, I would have covered the entire canvas. So now this is too much of a line here. So I'm going to wet this. It's just acrylic, and then dab it on the paper towel, and see if I can blend this. Get the phone out of my face. Yeah, you see it's blending. See that? It's still dry-ish, but it's blending in. Now that harsh line isn't there. That was there before. See, now it just looks like it's the bottom of the cloud. Shadow. So it is darker. It is darker than before. But that's what I wanted. I wanted it to be darker. I keep going. This is really dry now. There's almost no paint on this. There's no paint on this brush. Of course, the camera can't see it. See, there's almost no paint on it. It's just wet. I'm just painting with the paint already on the canvas. That's now fast on its way to drying. You can hear it scraping. That's a scumbling sound. So it's just hours of doing this. It's just out, you know, maybe it wouldn't take hours at this rate, but yeah, I mean, to cover the entire thing like that, and I probably won't do all the areas like that. But it gives you an idea, like that's just a tiny area, it's a tiny fraction. I just started. So this is the first shots fired in the battle. And you can see if I just did this for hours and kept mixing and remixing and wetting and scumbling and then mixing more color to adjust for the light, you know, all it is, it's a matter of constant adjustment. So for a first outing, that's not bad. You know, and it is touched up. It's an embellished Giclee. So it's just going to be hours and hours of this. And that's what will happen. See you next video.